Yep, okay. Hello everyone, I'm Rob, and I've got a wee introduction here for Terry, though I'm sure he doesn't need much of an introduction.
How about that?
Oh, right, we've got it. Okay. I'm going to eat the microphone.
I suddenly realise that I'm sitting in the front row.
Yeah, indeed.
I might be giving my act. Oh no. You know, this is going to seriously
impede your drinking.
Yes. Okay, let's start as we mean to go on.
From the top. Sir Terence David John Pratchett was born in 1948 and is still not apparently dead. Though there is a caveat, despite having been through your Homeland Security several times. He sold more than 65 million copies worldwide in 37 languages.
What was that again?
65 million copies worldwide?
75 million.
He sold more than 75 million copies worldwide in 37 languages, including Welsh. Snuff is his 50th solo novel, and it is a book with pages and everything. And they're all numbered in order for your convenience, and footnotes are apparently included at no extra cost. Most of those 50 novels are in the beloved Discworld series, which started to appear here in the United States way back in 1983. However, his American publishers put them out with covers, apparently in various shades of mud, occasionally with the author's name spelt wrong, and invariably long after the English editions had been picked up by fandom as grey imports. Presumably, this was because it took a long time to translate English into American. Long-time fans will also recall that there were no author tours, despite the underground popularity of Terry's works, and indeed, he was soon being invited as guest of honour at conventions across America. After a while, he was so disillusioned by this lack of support, he was about to turn over the US rights to Transworld, his British publishers, and was setting out to do so when he met the late, great Ralph Vichenanza. Now, God rest his soul, or maybe someone else should rest his soul. It's dependent on where he's gone, because no one really knows where the free agents end up. I haven't written that down just in case. Finds it. Anyway, Ralph had spotted Terry at a US Worldcon, signing UK imported hardcovers with a queue around the block. He dropped a hand on his shoulder and said, "You need me." And he brokered a deal with HarperCollins just before they bought Avon, and in one stroke gave him an editor in Jennifer Braille, who not only knew his work, but liked it. He also got a publisher in the shape of Andy Heidel, who again not only liked the books, but was very proactive. And soon after, just before a signing in Portland, Oregon, showed Terry how to mosey so he could fit in with his new American friends.
I still do it.
A previous publicist at an earlier house had simply said to Terry, "Do you know anyone in the States who can help publicise your books?" To which I believe Terry responded with some puzzlement, "Yes, I thought it was you." His first US signing tour was in 1998 for Carpe Jugulum, and was the tour from hell that every author must have at some point in their career. Flying economy, of course, to not very well advertised signings in apparently random places. Mostly he was shunting around hub to hub, and often backwards. His only meals were eaten on the run from one terminal to another, and I believe they consisted wholly of pretzels and mustard. Thank you. On one occasion, in the wonderful Madison, Wisconsin, his evening meal was a single slice of cold pizza from the Uber fan Rocky Frisco, who was staying at the same hotel that night. After that, he vowed never to do it again, but little did he know that the HarperCollins acquisition was having a result. Ralph Vichenanza had provided his publishers with a carefully researched breakdown of the monies they had lost by failing to publish hardcovers in the US. It was a very large spreadsheet, and Terry recalls that there might have even been a pie chart. 2 years later, HarperCollins very tentatively approached him again about another signing tour, and Terry laughed bitterly. And said no, because the last one was such crap. A few days later, and the phone rang again, and they said, "What would you like us to give you to do a tour?" And this time he laughed devilishly and replied, "Can I ring you back tomorrow? I need to make a list." And so, may I introduce you to the legend that is my boss, the incredibly great and definitely not late, Sir Terry Pratchett. So I'd like to say at this point, this isn't an interview. It can't be an interview. I know Terry too well, so I know the answer to just about anything he can say.
If I object to anything he says, I can sack him.
Which would be about the third time today, wouldn't it?
You've been sacked quite a lot.
Yeah. Very proud of that, thanks very much. So I've written a few notes on things really just sort of aid memoirs for the two of us. And the first one I've written down is, let's tell them how much we love Homeland Security.
Right. Okay, here's... I don't quite understand Homeland Security. It's Homeland Insecurity, obviously. The reason I'm slightly shy of it, how long ago was it? That famous time in LA, was it?
Yeah, we were filming the first documentary a couple of years ago.
And we passed through LA, and we... Homeland Security. We passed through LA, and being Brits, of course, we were shoved off in the corner where we slowed. And they say things like, "Do you want to overthrow the United States?" And we said, "Of course we are. We're British, for God's sake. We're better than you." We've gone through, and now I know LA Airport quite well. As we came out, we were with a bunch of Americans, and there was a guy in a fluorescent jacket, and he was making movements of, this way movements that people do. I thought, I didn't think the planes really were that way. But there was all the Americans in front of us were following, so we went in, and now we were airside again, having gone through the security checkpoint. So fortunately they're Americans, for Americans breed true human beings alongside the English, for which we trash. So we all found somebody who grudgingly allowed us to go up on an escalator, and we were sent through another little gate. At least the Americans were, once they finally got the story out of the machinery. No one explained why all of us had been sent airside again, but the two of us were sent into a little cage, right there in the middle of the concourse.
It was perspex, it was about 8 feet tall, and there was me and you on our own.
There's another bloke who joined us later.
He joined us later, and he was of an Iranian persuasion. Yeah. We were now very worried.
By that time, I was of an Iranian persuasion. If they're going to stick me in a cage, I might as well get all Iranian about it.
The funniest bit that I remember about that, though, was standing there, not being able to do anything, and knowing that shouting was probably not going to work, doing anything was not going to work. And then seeing our luggage produced on a gurney just a couple of feet away from us, and watching your very nice titanium laptop hit the deck. That was a good one. And there was nothing that we could do. But after a full cavity search, they let us out.
Actually, no, they didn't. They just waited until we had just... It was carefully planned. What had actually we done wrong? Sorry about this. I have to say this. The guy was a cube of ebony. And you can't talk to a cube of ebony. What had we done wrong?
In the United Kingdom.
No one ever said anything. Someone in the United Kingdom, someone said, let me get it right, how did it? Oh, Lord, love a duck. Don't worry about that. Someone up there's got it wrong. Never mind. Don't make hard feelings. Have a cup of tea. Off we go. We'll see you get to your aircraft. Something like that. I mean, I understand it takes most Americans about 20 minutes to get through Heathrow security. That's what I'm told from friends. Up to 3 hours, isn't it, for us?
That's right, yeah. 3 hours. We think we were doing well at 3 hours. But we made it here in the end.